Highlight on Business, sponsored to you by NIPSCO. Here at WLTH, we do our best in programming in terms of highlighting businesses, and one of the things NIPSCO is a sponsor in terms of helping unite businesses in the community. And today we have a very wonderful guest for you. I'd like to remind our listeners that the views expressed by the hosts and callers of this show are not necessarily the views of WLTH Radio management, owner, and sponsors. And with that, I'm going to open up the microphone, and we are going to be talking to Miss Katrina Hill today. We're going to talk about some information that a lot of people shy away from. There are some things that we don't do in terms of the hereafter and what we need to do. So today we're going to have that conversation. And as I said, good morning, Miss Katrina. How you doing?
Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you so much for coming out today. It's overcast, but all of that, we're bright and sunshiny in here because we're going to talk about a very tough subject for a lot of people. But first of all, tell a little bit about you, where you're from, and first of all, throw that information out there or phone number at the beginning, so in case people need to get in touch.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Katrina Hill. I could be reached at 219-801-2393. I'm born and raised here in Gary, Indiana. I live out in Hammond right now, working for a wonderful company. Been there about 3 years. Love what I'm doing. I am a final expense specialist, specializing in final expense life insurance. What else you need to know?
Is it one of the things because of the way that you put it, and when you say final, and tell me about what comes under that moniker, final.
Okay, when you talk about final expense, you're talking about at the end. Everything that's associated with that burial, whether you have any bills, everything for the funeral is covered into that policy. It's essentially a burial policy.
Okay. Now, you're finding, or I know one of the problems that a lot of people don't want to have that conversation, but let's talk about why it's necessary that you do that.
Oh my God, it is so necessary. So many people think that it's just taboo. They've heard so many stories relating to burials, or so many stories relating to funerals or passing away. But keep in mind, everyone, that this is something that's going to happen to each and every last one of us. We're all are going to pass away at some point. We just don't know when. So the most important thing is to be prepared. I always say it's best to be 5 years too early than 5 minutes too late. Insurance in a whole is based on age and health. The younger you are, the cheaper it is. The healthier you are, the cheaper it is. You still can get coverage when you do have health issues. There's not too many companies out there that are going to take care of that. But knowing exactly what it is you need and being prepared at that time is the best thing possible, because there's nothing worse than you calling an agent that you've seen over a year ago, but you're in a hospital, or you've just been diagnosed with a real chronic condition and you're in a healthcare facility, or you've just been given less than 12 months to live. So it's too late at that point. So 5-10 years ahead of time makes a huge difference and impact.
Okay, so now we're going to base our planning decision. Well, first of all, let's deal with the age thing, because you said 5 years earlier would have helped. But a lot of things that are happening now with young people dying surreptitiously, they're gone. Let's talk about that. And their families not having the proper coverage.
Okay, so what I often see with people that I deal with, and I see a lot of them are getting coverage on the kids right out the womb, because you can do that. That's the best thing to do if you're able to. Oftentimes people are in that position where they can't do that. But if you can, that's the best thing to do. Or when you're making that decision as a mother, as a father, and you have underage kids, go ahead and get them their own policy, or have them to be a rider on your policy. When you are an underage kid anyone that you want to add to your policy under the age of 17 can be a rider on your policy up until they turn 25. Once they turn 25, then it converts to their own whole life policy at their attained age at that moment.
Wow. So, but one of the things too is that people don't think about that when their children, they're and I'm gonna say one of the things in terms of Black people in general. The problem comes in when we don't want to deal with that because someone says, "Oh, I'm going to die." The first thing they're going to say, "I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to hear that right now." So when is the best time? You said up until 25, you can get a policy that your children will be covered with. But what about times that you should really have that conversation with your family?
That's a great question. I often talk to my clients, and when they know they're having that big family hoo-ha or that family dinner, that barbecue, or just a Sunday dinner, if it's a whole family, or if it's just, a household, you can still have that conversation. It's nothing that we talk about on a daily basis, but it's something that needs to be discussed, because oftentimes what we run into is that we think the matriarch of the family have something in place because years ago they knew, let's just say Big Ma had this policy in place, but over the years life happened. And when that time came, there was nothing in place. And then everyone wants to start pointing a finger. "Oh, you should have known this. You should have known that." Okay, we all can know this once we put it out on the table and we discuss it while we're all together. I think that's the most important thing we can do for our loved ones, because you got to think about it. When you pass away, if you have nothing in place, someone has to take charge and be in control of that bill.
Absolutely. I remember when I was coming up, my grandmother had, the insurance agent would always come to your house. He had these big suitcases of things, and he'd write that policy out. And to the point where when I was in high school, my grandmother in California was paying quarter for she had all of these little policies for a quarter. And it was amazing when she finally did pass, how they had matured from a quarter on up to they had a big, percentage going on. But the thing of it is how do you just give me a conversation where you say, "Look, we're all going there," because you look at young people nowadays, they could care less, but we're burying so many of them, and a lot of times they want these big elaborate funerals, but the problem comes in is that you don't have the money for it.
Yeah, and unfortunately that is something that we are faced with each and every day. So oftentimes, I'm just going to give you an example of when I visit people. They send in a piece and they want this information. They sent it in for a reason. So I'm talking to them to understand the reason why you sent this in, the reason why you wanted to talk to me. And oftentimes, once I pull the layers back, I find out so many deaths have occurred within the family within the last 2 or 3 months unexpectedly, and no one had any insurance. So that right there is reason enough. If you know today you have absolutely no coverage on yourself, or no one in your family, your loved ones, have nothing. When you're looking at life insurance and insurance policies, you are the ones that are in control of what you can afford, because no one knows your budget but you. So as an agent, when we're talking to you, everything is contingent and based upon your income, your budget. So you know what that is. Having something in place is better than nothing. If you know you can afford $20 a month, you pick a plan that is comfortable for that at that time. When times change, then you can always increase. Just like you said, you remember your grandma had the policies for a quarter. That means she increased it over the years. And that's one thing that a lot of people don't understand. You don't have to start out with that big half face amount policy with this big premium. You know, if you can afford that, congratulations, because this is something that's going to be in place for the rest of your life that you're going to be paying for. So always look at affordability as well as knowing something is better than nothing.
Okay. So one of the things, as I talked about, I just said use the word elaborate funerals. I mean, I've seen people put away in caskets. There are people that they got a hole out of ground for days because there was no money. But then yet and still you see the Globe, and I'm just throwing this out there commercially because you hear that everybody gets, as soon as the baby's born, you got this thing that said you can get a policy for $1. But then as you graduate and as you get older, now there's another insurance company that's saying because you're older, you can get it for $9.99. But in terms of the specifics, they have not given that. So let's talk a little bit about pricing, because you said it's affordable. I might be looking for something for $1 that says I'm expecting a $50,000 policy.
Well, well, it is affordability what you're looking for. Now, you're going to see those advertisements where you can get something for $1. Read that.
Fine print.
Read the fine print.
Okay. All right.
Okay. And I'm just going to say, when you're looking for insurance, please sit down at your kitchen table and talk to someone.
Okay.
I mean, some do it over the phone. If that's what you choose to do, then you know that's what you're going to do. But it's best and most important to sit down and talk to someone that can derive a plan for you, showing you in black and white what's affordable for you, and explaining each and every tier and level, because there's a lot, it can be complicated if you don't understand the ins and outs. That's why I say I am a final expense specialist. I'm able to explain these things to you. Just think about, you go to your primary doctor and he sees that there's something going on with your heart, and he schedules you to see a cardiologist. Okay, you don't go see the cardiologist. You're like, man, I ain't listening. I can go to my cousin. He a mechanic. He know everything. He gonna tell me what's going on.
Okay.
It's like that. Why bypass the professional to go to someone that's going to tell you what they've heard or what they think they know? No, you don't do that. Always talk to a professional.
Okay, now here's the other part about this, and I talked about the young people and even younger parents. I mean, I think that should be some sort of rule, a mandate before you leave the hospital, that you got some insurance coverage. Because inevitably what's going to wind up happening is you're going to look on Facebook and somebody's got a GoFundMe page to bury somebody. And I'm just not comfortable with that.
Yeah. I mean, no one should be. You know, and I often say this, GoFundMe, guys, is not life insurance. And to be blunt and to be real, GoFundMe is nothing more than virtual panhandling.
Virtual
panhandling.
Oh, I like that. I really like
Yes.
that.
If you think about it, that's what GoFundMe is, because you're asking everyone to donate because someone in the family has passed away and arrangements were not made. That's why it's so important to be prepared. You know, when you get life insurance, it's like you're being responsible. You're really being responsible because you know the inevitable is going to come. We just don't know when. So it's just best to be prepared for these situations. You know, I see a lot of the GoFundMe. You know, that's because people just decided, oh, I'm not ready for it right now. I'm still young. I'm 50. I'm 20. I'm 20 years old. How many 20-year-olds have we seen in the paper?
Right. And then the other part becomes when somebody dies, and you know the public gonna say, well, they had money, they had this and that, they should have enough money to bury. So you're not gonna get people that's gonna be too reticent to throw their money in there, as you said. I like the word panhandling because you're absolutely right. That is what it is.
It is. I mean, and you know, we gotta be cognizant. We gotta think of things. We got these phones. We get insurance on our phone.
Right.
We have insurance on our cars. You know, insurance on all type of stuff. You know, how often do we go without even using that insurance? Having to do a claim on anything. You could be driving for 25 years and never had to use your car insurance. Life insurance is the only thing that is guaranteed that you're going to pay into the rest of your life, but your beneficiary is guaranteed a check as soon as when you pass away. And it's guaranteed that all these funeral arrangements will be taken care of. That's the only thing. You know, out here in Gary, we pay NIPSCO. I mean, I'm years old. And I've been paying NIPSCO for years.
Okay.
All that money I put in NIPSCO, once I pass away, is NIPSCO going to say, dang, she paid this, let me give her money, get his money to the family. No, it don't work that way. So think of the things that you pay into, bills that you pay into, but will never reimburse that back to you.
Well, I think they reimburse me when my lights are stayed on and my heat is stayed on, and I can do that all the time. Yeah, and so, but you're absolutely correct. And then for final expenses that's left over, it's not, sometimes you can get enough where it'll cover like your final, that you want to close out these bills. You don't want to leave someone having to pay them. And you can also get coverage for that when you're talking about final expenses, correct?
Yes, when you're talking about final expense, like I said, everything for the burial. Most final expense policies, like I said, it is burial. So it's taking care of everything for the burial. Oftentimes, a lot of my clients may have something already that they've had 15 years before. But they understand the importance of having a final or burial policy, because everything that they want, they can state it, because it's also a pre-planning involved in it, where you can pre-plan everything you want the way you want it with my company.
Okay.
And
so I hate to interrupt you, but I want you to get a set of headphones on, because we have a caller, and this caller wants to ask you a question.
All
right.
Can you get prepared for that?
Sure.
Okay. Well,
Let me just move this so I can see a little.
And you're listening to WLTH AM 1370, 92.7 FM. We're talking to Katrina Hill, and she's talking about final expenses, being prepared. So with that, we do have a caller, and we're going to allow her the opportunity to talk with this caller and see if we can talk about what you should be doing in terms of your final expenses. Good morning, caller. You're on with Katrina Hill.
Okay, good morning, Natalie. Good morning, Katrina.
Good morning.
I have a question for you. I'm quite sure you're in insurance. See this somewhere in life. Have you ever seen?
Hello?
Have you ever seen anyone that didn't have insurance and didn't have nothing? Please answer that question.
Of course.
Okay, and what was the outcome? They didn't have insurance, they didn't have nothing. What was the outcome?
Okay, so I just want to make sure.
Wait now, Katrina, they don't have no insurance. Don't nobody in the world have no money for them. Please, what was the outcome?
What was the outcome for them? Then their family had to come together.
Nobody, I'm gonna have to give it to you wrong. Don't no family have no money, don't no niggas, don't nobody have no money. What the outcome was that?
Okay.
Just come to me straight. Just say, hey, come to me straight. What was the outcome of that?
All right.
Yeah, all right, now I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay, now I've seen situations like that, and that's where I've seen people go to GoFundMe, because no one has any money. So they have to ask other friends, relatives of friends, anyone that can help them help bury their loved one. And that's when people go to GoFundMe, because no one had insurance. Is that what you're asking?
I already moved on with that, because I just wanted you to be able to respond, because you do have some other things that we want to get. And we discussed that you're basically, to tell the caller, you're panhandling. You got to go around and pass the hat so everyone can, and that is really not fair to other people, because they have expenses just as you have with this person, in terms of how you have to deal with that and what's going on with that. So we want to make sure that they understand, as you started out with it, that we have that conversation. One of the one of the things that we did, you got to find, and there's always time, or there's not the appropriate time, or whatever, and that's when people are uncomfortable talking about it. But one of the things that we did, we had a discussion at my family reunion, that we had an agent actually come to the family reunion, invited him out so he could have that conversation with the family. You want to elaborate a little bit further?
Yes.
About when you can have that conversation?
With an agent?
Yes, you come out.
When should you?
Oh, okay, yeah, that is really good. That's like I was saying, when you have those gatherings and the togetherness with people. Myself, I have asked me and say I need insurance, but I know other people in my family don't have it as well. So I organize and set up a time where we can meet together, where everyone can get this information. Sometimes I have parties.
Oh, really?
But, yeah.
What's an insurance party?
That's just what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's an insurance party, what I call it, because I'm getting, the whole family or friends together, and we talk about coverage, what's needed, because this is for each individual person. What's needed for me may be different for you.
Okay.
Because you have to know what you need and what's, best for you, because everyone is going to be different. Everyone's age is different. Everyone's health is different.
So here's the other question. You have another caller, so I don't want you to get too far away from the headphones either, okay?
Okay.
What happens if for some reason I'm paying on this policy for months, maybe even years, and then all of a sudden something catastrophic happens to me, but I'm not, I haven't deceased. What can I do? What about the coverage? What's going to happen with all the money or all the time that I paid into this final expense policy?
Okay, and that also, with final expense, I can speak on that. Any other policy I can't speak on because I only deal with final expense. So with that it is a whole life policy, and with whole life policies, it do build cash value over time. So if you happen to get sick, going to the hospital and cannot pay, then the cash value that has built up in the policy, it can pay for the premium of it on its own until, either it depletes or you're able to start back doing it.
Oh, okay. All right. That's nice to know. So let's go to our phone lines and talk to the caller and see what they're talking about. Good morning, caller. You're on Spotlight on Business.
Good morning, Natalie. Good morning, Katrina.
Hi, good morning.
I was in the bathroom cleaning up, but I heard you on the phone, and I thought I'd better get out and tell you. I had good insurance, and it was beginning to get interest. But you know what I did? I cashed that insurance in. I paid for my cremation, and the reason why I paid for my cremation and I wanted it to be simple, because I'm the only one here. And I was going to the cemetery all the time and cleaning up for some of the veterans over there in that section by my dad and my friend Henry. And I took flowers to, those artificial flowers to my mother and my sister's gravesite. But you know what, when I pass away, who's going to look out for them? Nobody. So it behooved me to do what I did. I paid for my cremation. I wrote my exit poem. That was in 2016. God is keeping me here for a reason, but I am suffering, believe me. And I'm going to tell you, as long as I stay close to him, I won't be here today and gone today. But I said I wanted a private funeral. She said, do you want flowers? Do you want this? Do you want a casket? No, none of that. The reason why I said that, make it very simple. What little stuff I've got, the family can divide it, and I want a special project that I'm turning over to an attorney that I have faith in. But I'm going to tell you this. If I thought that somebody was going to be here to look out for everything, I would have done it a little bit different. But if you know that your relatives come in here and they don't want to go to the cemetery, what does that tell you?
Mm-hmm.
It's an ostentatious show that people want to come and see you. You got to have this casket. You got to have these monuments and everything. But what should happen when nobody's here to look out for that?
Exactly.
And I've heard a lot of people, I said, don't you go to the cemetery? Why? They're gone. Yeah, but you invested all that money in a tombstone, a base and everything, and the veterans got taken care of. But a lot of their family members don't even go out there and put a flower on their grave or clean off the top of the monument. I did it the simple way. And like I said, I want to be here today and gone today. And everything has been arranged. I didn't even know I would be here past 2016. But that's when I paid for it. I'm still living. That's a testimony to what God is working on me.
All right.
Thank God.
I'll later.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Wow, thank you so much, caller. That is awesome. And that is a testament, and that is what I was saying. Everyone is different. She knew no one else was here.
Okay.
So she took it upon herself to realize, I can't lead this to anyone else. So she did what was best for her. And she did and what she just talked about, and what she did was a pre-planned, pre-arranged, cremation. And that's awesome. I congratulate you on that, because when you have this policy, you are able to plan out exactly what you want, the way you want it, down to the T. It has a pre-planning arrangement in with your policy, and that's exactly what she did. So kudos to you. You know what you want, and that's great. Oftentimes, people don't know what they want right up front, but giving it some thought, they realize exactly what they want. They write it down. It's your final wishes. You write these down accordingly to what you want, how you want it, and no one can change it.
And so one of the things that I would ask in terms of, you mentioned, about these parties. Do you do them individually for families? Let's say a family wanted you to come out for a discussion such as that, and you would come out and talk to the family about that. Can we plan our own party, so to speak?
Yes.
Okay.
I do consultations as well. No obligation consultations.
Okay.
So that's when I'm coming in and I'm giving the information. I look like this, like I say, I am a final expense specialist. If I've given you the information, I've educated you, I've done my job. Because there's so many things going and floating around here. Well, my grandma said this, or my uncle, cousin said that this, and that. You cannot go off of what someone said or rumors. You have to know this for yourself. That's why it's best to talk to someone face to face.
So here's another thing, when your jobs, because a lot of my children, and they say this is, well, on my job, I've got this covered and I got that covered. That's a temporary, jobs may be temporary, and the policy sometimes may or may not carry over. What do you recommend for people like that?
That's exactly what happens. I run into people all the time. Oh, I got insurance on my job. Oh, that's great. What happens when a job closes? What happens when it go out of business, close down? What happens when you get fired on your day off? What happens then?
Yes.
It is not portable. And portable, you can't carry it with you. Now, there are some jobs out there. When you do retire, the package comes with you. But it dwindles over time. That's something you need to be aware of. I don't know how many of you may have seen this big article about Sears. All the people that got retired from Sears, the company was paying their insurance policy for them. Well, they went out of business. Guess what? All these people that had those policies for years, now they're in their 80s, they're 85, they're 90. They have nothing. They've had these for so long. Now they're at the age, they can't get anything.
Wow.
So that's something you have to be conscious of.
Okay. It's always good if you got it with the employer, which you really should.
You should always get something outside of your company. Always.
Now, is there a discussion too, or is there a way, like we talked about the expense plan? A lot of people will do it for burial, but let's say, is there a financial plan that you would go through them with in terms of taking care of their bills, and then that would determine the amount of the insurance that they purchase?
Well, one thing that I often do when I'm sitting down with someone, I'm showing them in black and white different numbers.
Okay.
And I'm turning it and showing them letting them pick what best comfortably fit their budget.
Okay.
Now, when I'm sitting with you, I'm looking at your body language. Oftentimes, we'll see a big face amount because we like, this is what I want, because it's so taboo again that it's a show and tell when you're at funerals. And you're seeing this big face amount, and then the price that's next to it is really over your means. If I'm seeing flinching, if I'm saying, maybe I can do it, no. I'm going to ask you this most important question. We're in the dead of winter. Your furnace goes out. You need to get a new furnace right here and there, and your insurance payment is due. What's going to happen? Are you able to get this furnace and make your payment at the same time? If you hesitate, if you say, I don't know, well, you know what? Let's look at something that's a little bit lower than this.
Okay.
And after time, you can always increase.
Okay.
You want to stay within your budget, guys.
All righty. Well, I want you to give the information again as to how people can contact you, because it's very important that we stay on top of this and that we continue the conversation, because so many people don't. And as you said, we all have that expiration date, but it's how we plan in order for the expenses for that. So please give information, and we got to keep this conversation rolling. So.
Okay, I can be reached by phone, area code 219-801-2393. If you're on my live now, you're seeing me, Katrina Hill, insurance agent. I also have another website, funeraladvantage.com/Katrina Hill. If you're looking for employment, you want to become an agent, please look at my website, look at the link, and we can get you going. And you can always inbox me any questions or concerns you may have. I know some of you heard me talk about the insurance parties and how I gather families together. If you're looking and wishing to have something like this done for your family, please reach out.
Because I'm going to suggest this, and you didn't say this, but I like the idea of a party or a discussion. And I'm going to put a caller in here. And caller, I'm going to let you talk to Katrina Hill in just a moment. So, but I want to get this out. When I was coming up, and I grew up in the rural South, and one of the things is that we were churchgoers, and the church was very much involved in my family. So as we continued on, okay, don't worry about it, because I don't think that was the cause. The caller's intent was to talk. No, they've already disconnected. So when I made that announcement. But one of the things about it is the church, and maybe we have the suggestion, is your church having this sort of conversation? Because the first time, let me tell you, first thing somebody gonna do is, because you go to that church, you're going to expect that they're going to do this, and then when you find out that they don't, your family's going to be upset with their church because they didn't pay for it. But if they had the information there for you to say this is what you should be doing, that'll make for a lot less anger and a lot of less accusations.
You know, no, I did not bring that up, but you have a lot of knowledge and you've been around. But yes, that is one thing that I've done. I've visited many churches. I've done presentations at church. I visit the church that day and I present, after the service and everything. And I've been able to help quite a few people, churches and ministers. I had this one minister tell me, I'm so glad that I was able to connect with you, because the same thing that you said, oftentimes every time a member passes away, they look at the church if they have nothing in place. They look at the church to help bury their loved ones. So yes, I do presentations at churches as well. I also do presentations in high rises, senior buildings. I visited everywhere from Gary, Hammond, East Chicago, Maryville, and I also do bingo with the seniors.
Oh, okay.
So,
How much you give away?
Huh?
You give away money?
No, I give away prizes though. So I do bingo and presentation with the seniors, and they love it. They enjoy it. They love the information, and afterwards, I'm writing people and helping them get their final wishes in place.
Oh, you just
But
gave me an
that's
idea for my
awesome
family.
that you brought that up.
Yeah, you just gave me an idea for my family. But I mean, I can sit here and we could go on and keep going over this. The most important thing is that you do plan. Have that conversation with the final expense. How do you say it? Final expense specialist, consultant. You know, we're gonna work with that. Katrina Hill. She's gonna give you a phone number to reach out to her. And I just can't say enough how much I appreciate this conversation.
So. I mean, I enjoyed it talking with you. Once again, I can be reached at 219-801-2393. You can reach me on the Facebook page, Katrina Hill Insurance Agent, or you can go to the link, funeraladvantage.com/Katrina Hill.
Okay, all righty. Well, thank you. And with that, I'm going to close out. I certainly appreciate everyone taking the time to tune in to Spotlight on Business here. And I want to thank NIPSCO for being a sponsor of this program so we can get the information out. NIPSCO about joining communities and being very proactive in terms of the information that we get out there to help grow and help the success of people down the road. So thank you, Katrina, for stopping by.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Great conversation.
Thank you.
I look forward to having more conversations like this and with you. And as I said, congratulations on being the person who's carrying the information forward to the public, because definitely something that's much needed in the community. When we talk about poverty and a funeral in and of itself, here, if you are already broken down and out, it will take you there down even further. So we want to grow our community.
Definitely.
All righty. So I want to thank everyone for tuning